What's on Christ? This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are under commanding Giuliano. We've been teaching this truth since 1969 that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are in fact the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? This is the One West News Desk. We bring you your local, your national, and international news. You understand? To your timeline. I know y'all getting a whole lot of Jay-Z on your timeline. Beef with a female rapper. Okay, you're getting a lot of there's a bunch of trash, but a lot of things that's going on in the news, internationally, national, and in your area. It pertains to us so heavy, and is really tied to our liberation, and our leadership, ain't pointing these things out. So we're gonna bring this out. I'm your host, Captain Sapari, along with
Officer Matham,
and we're gonna bring out this heavy thing that probably got swept under the rug. I don't understand Matham this right. The NAACP should be demanding the release of the Ghetto Informant program files. They should be demanding the release of those files and who was partakers in the crimes against black organizations in the late 60s and the early 70s.
Right.
Putting a hit out on what's that brother in the Black Panther?
Oh, you talking about
Fred Hampton? Is it
Fred Hampton?
Fred Hampton, other so-called black leaders, Marcus Garvey, this should just remind us that this age in society never cared about us.
Right.
Regardless if they give you voting rights, regardless if they give you welfare, regardless if they give you housing, it's always some underlying way to try to destroy us indefinitely. They do not want us to rise in any way, shape, and form. So much so that they hired informants and implanted them in black organizations in order to disrupt a rise of any shape and form of liberation for black people.
Right.
So let's go in here. Let's get some more information. We got an article we're going to pull up. We're going to read, and we have the actual. And listen, these files are on the FBI website. Now, what I failed to find, so maybe I got to do some more scanning with them. Maybe it's me. I want to know who the informants was, and I want to know who the hell, what organization was breached. Because I'm pretty sure that civil rights movement was breached. I'm pretty sure that Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam was breached.
Right.
Okay.
You know what? Let's say it like this: civil rights movement wasn't breached. I believe the civil rights movement was started.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? A lot of us, we look at Martin Luther King, James Farmer, and a couple of those other people who were in the civil rights movement. We look at them as the leaders of the civil rights movement, which we always forget. And we always come out and tell y'all that it was always for white oppressors that headed up the civil rights movement, that told Martin Luther King and them what to say and what to do, where to go. You understand? Remember that civil rights movement, that march was supposed to be a march on the White House. They were supposed to march on the White House. They got them to change and march on the Lincoln Memorial. They didn't want the coverage on the White House. You understand? And that's where they said the grassroots that actually started that march, that's where they were going to march at. And they got Martin Luther King. And remember, JFK, John F. Kennedy was the one who incorporated Martin Luther King and company in that civil rights movement. We were always told that Martin Luther King was the head of that civil rights movement. You understand? But he wasn't. You know what I mean? And a lot of youth at that time got tired of the let's sit down and be humble and let's ask them for what we want.
Yeah, they don't teach that. It was a lot of people in opposition to that movement. Go ahead.
It was a lot, and what they did and on that topic, what you just said, what they did is what they actually do today, right? They say that the majority of the people want this, and they show you a lot of coverage of the same thing and make you believe that that's what the majority wants. And eventually, with a lot of the people that's in the majority, it changes their mind, because a lot of people want to be with the majority. And they use the propaganda, just like when you look at, have you ever looked at when they do a bombing, right? They'll show you the same bombing from a bunch of different angles. Or when they say, oh, it's 100,000, it's about 100,000 immigrants coming across the border. They'll show you the same immigrants, but from different angles, making it look like it's a lot of people, when in fact, it's not that many. You understand? Well, it's not that many Hispanics. Now, when you start counting the Asians and the East Indians and the Arabs, then that's when you get the multitude. You understand? Especially when you get the multitude, and I don't want to get too far off go ahead. But when you get the multitude of Asians coming across the border with drugs, with fentanyl, you understand? With opioids, you understand?
That's the whole. That's the whole.
That are bringing the drugs, the most drugs across.
That's the whole. Really, they back when you better talk about the movies.
Propaganda again, but this is the same propaganda, and it's the same propaganda that the FBI, the CIA, and all of these agencies that America and other European nations use to get their they want to paint, they want that thing in motion, put their evil plans in motion.
But they propaganda is one of the number one keys and swaying the public view,
right, or
what have you. When they got them goddamn Arabs is hopped up off of that heroin.
Yeah,
they'll these goddamn devils. When I'm talking about the oppressor, the cancer of the earth. They'll drug an entire nation, man.
Yeah,
them Arabs is on all types of drugs. You understand? Them Japanese and the Chinese is on all types of drugs. That's their culture, but they want to paint us as the addicts, or what have you. And the so-called white man is an addict too. And they want to talk about they're bringing X, Y, and Z across the border. Who's taking it?
Right.
Let's take a trip down College Park.
Yeah.
Let's take a trip over to Loyola University.
Yeah.
Let's take a trip to John Hopkins. And I'm naming specific colleges and in the Maryland and Baltimore area.
Right.
And I'm leaving certain ones out because we know who's the ones that's hopped up like that.
Right.
You're rowdy. They're just boys being boys. You're a bunch of addicts. I think we going off. That just young.
But it's all European propaganda. It's all oppressive propaganda. You understand? That's why we be saying in those prayers that we speak, open up the internet and the airwaves. You understand? Because those are the resources. Those are the avenues that the oppressor uses to plant these seeds in our mind. You understand that we are the evil one when really they are the evil one. You understand? And then they make all of these other immigrant groups look like they're top of the line. You understand? Like these are the minority. What they say? What was the one they used on the for the Asian? The what's the name minority? Remember Commander General Hunter did the anyway, it supposed to make the Asian look like this is the ideal minority. This is what the minority should look like. This is what immigrants coming into our country, this is how they should be. You understand? Made the Asians look like, because remember, everything during World War II and before World War II, they made the Asians look like they were the evil part of the evil empire. Everything was evil, even the little cartoons they used to make about them. And then they had to change that propaganda after World War II when they gathered up all those Asians illegally
Mm-hmm.
and put them in camps. And it wasn't even real. The thing about it was, it wasn't even real, you know, concentration camps. You understand? Because they still had all the necessities that they needed. Not like they doing the Hispanics in Alligator Alley or Alligator Alcatraz or whatever. You understand how they doing them now? You understand the dude that they released? He said they had 4 pens, 38 inmates per pen. You say you didn't even have privacy in there. They didn't do that to the Asians. They don't do that to the Arabs. They don't do that to the Africans. You understand? But they definitely do it to us. You understand? And this is the propaganda. And a lot of us have to understand that there are some of us.
Make sure y'all hit that like button. Go ahead.
There are some of us that
we're gonna get to everybody that commented too. But go ahead.
There are some people, some of us that do things that go to prison, but we have to also understand that a lot of us are put in conditions. You understand? And the conditions are created by the oppressor so that we do go out and do the wrong things. And this is the reason why we come out here and we speak what we speak, to let you know that there are ways around the things that you're doing, and you don't have to always take the path of destruction. You understand? We can take that narrow path. You understand? That path is straight, the straight path of righteousness. You understand? But we got some questions.
Just a couple of comments. Shout out to everybody that timed in online. If there is one question, I just want to shout out. We see you, Jackson, the water for checking in. Shalom. Young man Tim, we see you checking in from Maryland. Shalom. We got a couple of trolls in here too, but we'll get to you too. We got a couple of trolls. Shalom, sis. We see Officer Matabar Red. What's her name? Shalom, sis. Jewel. Hold on, let me get Nazamana. Shalom, sis. Shalom, Yashma. Tabashim Shah. We got a question here. It says, how does hating white people help blacks? That's a peculiar and interesting question.
What did you say again?
How does hating white people help blacks? And that's an interesting. His name is Jesus Saves and Heals. Amen.
Ooh, you know who that sound like? That sound like the dude in DC.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was
preacher boy.
Jesus Saves and Heals. It's not. It's a lucky.
So I go. And I don't know what you. Who says that we hate anybody? I hate the crime. We hate the crimes that these oppressors have committed against us. We're talking about an entire nation of people that oppressed. They stole our language. They stole our culture, wiped it away, tried to bury it, then stole it. Not only that, psychological torture, but they physically tortured us for hundreds of years.
Right.
And then continue to oppress us today. That's not hate. That's acknowledging the crimes that has been committed from another people onto another, to one people onto another. We gotta. The problem is our oppressor doesn't want to take any type of accountability for the crimes that they committed against blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. This is hate. Hate is what the oppressor does to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rape, rob, murder across the entire face of the earth, pollute the earth. He doesn't allow particular technology to flourish because he want to make money off of oil and gas. He's a cancer. Him in a box and him in chains, which would be judgment from God. The earth can heal.
Right.
The earth will rejoice if this beast, was handled. You wanted to add?
I got a question. Who asked that question?
Jesus Saves 1, 2, 3. Hold on, let me get his name.
Jesus Saves 1, 2, 3.
Hold on, let me get his name. Jesus Saves and Heals. Amen.
Jesus Saves and Heals. Amen. This is the thing that I want to ask you, right? Every time we speak up about the crimes that are done against us, everybody says we need to forgive and forget. You understand? We need to forgive and forget. But when it comes to our crimes Nobody forgives and forgets. As a matter of fact, Jesus saves is there are people out of that sect that always says, well, black people do this and black people do that. You understand? And we always pointing the finger at each other, not understanding that the reason why we do a lot of the things that we do, and I'm not saying that it's right, but the reason why we do the things that we do, we just said it a couple of minutes ago, because of the conditions that have been created by the oppressor. Now, understand this. I'm gonna go into a little bit of history, and I always bring this same thing up in history, right? You have a law called the Maryland Doctrine of Exclusion of 1638. It says no slave, descendant of a slave, or black person shall enjoy the fruits of white society. Now, what is a fruit of white society? A fruit of white society is being in control of teaching your own people. We don't teach our own people. Being able to feed your own people. That's a fruit of white society. We don't feed our own people. To be able to give your own people, and when I say these things, I'm talking about on a national level where you can take care of a nation of people. If you look at what's going on right now, we're being taken care of like a stepchild. Matter of fact, just like Cinderella, we are the Cinderellas of America, not the good side. But I'm talking about the one who has to do all the cooking, the cleaning, and everything that everybody tells us to do. And we tell nobody what to do. We don't even control our own children. They created laws so that we can't parent the way parents are supposed to. Mm-hmm. You understand? This is the reason why we have children out of control. And as soon as you put your child in control, you're in court. You understand what I'm saying? Doctrine of exclusions. Now, this is what I want somebody to do. Anybody online, show me where they created a law that nullified the doctrine of exclusion to where we could do for ourselves. Somebody show me that. And then what I want somebody to do is I want somebody to show me a condition where we have control and are able to use the fruits of white society to build our own nation. Somebody show me that.
Excellent point.
That's a law. Listen, Salaki, if I make sure. Please. That's a law, and this is a sneaky law that America has created. Then not only that, even in the Constitution, they say, what, we 3/5 of a person?
Still.
3/5 of a person, right? They also created laws, black codes, that if you committed a crime, you could be locked up and then put back into slavery. It used to be where if you didn't have an ID on you, you could be locked up and put back into slavery. If you didn't have $1 in your pocket on the street, you could be locked up and put back into slavery. You understand? 3 or more people gathered together, blacks I'm talking about, you could be put back into slavery on that. If that's not diabolical, if that's not wicked, if that's not evil, if that's not hate, tell me what it is. But this is the thing. We don't talk about that hate. We don't talk about the real hate that really dictates our lives till this very day. We want to talk about people saying, you understand, I hate white people. And not just like Cap said, we don't hate white people because of the color of their skin, but we hate white people and not just because they're white, but because
we didn't even say that. We talking about their crimes.
The crime.
We said nothing about their skin color. We said nothing. We're talking about the actual things that they do to us.
Right.
What they do and what they have done. This person here, Jesus saves and heals, amen, had another statement here.
Let's see what the statement is.
This statement is and we're gonna get into this article in a second, y'all. It says nobody alive today is a slave or a slave owner, which is something that you can argue, but when you go to work tomorrow, that's you slaving. Right. First of all. Now let me get this. You a slave to Target and Walmart. Mm-hmm. You don't recognize and understand that though. And you got to work because you got to eat. Mm-hmm. You got to work because you got to have a roof over your head, don't you? Anyway, that's another rabbit hole we can go. I mean, we can say it all day.
I like to see him go. I like to see him go to the black corporation that's building this nation and helping us to survive. Show me that black corporation.
Now let me get this scripture here. Are we in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 20? It says, verse 21, it says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. The so-called oppressor, and we're going to get to your other question too. His question was, who was the oppressor? Before we answer that question, you go ahead, type in the chat and give me a wild guess on who you think is oppressing the entire earth. The person that took Africa, the person that took all of America, the person that dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You understand? The person that took Australia away from the Aboriginals of Australia. The person that raped, robs, and murdered across the entire face of the earth. Makes himself everything. Make himself the last samurai. Make himself the first Martian.
You remember that?
Come on, man.
The last samurai had to be a oppressor.
So it says the Lord has prepared slaughter for the children of the oppressor, for the children of the slave master, for the children of the conquistador, and the French that slaughtered and enslaved Haitians. You understand? For the Portuguese, the children of the Portuguese that slaughtered, raped, robbed, and murdered Brazilians. For the children of the Spaniards and the conquistadors that raped, robbed, all over the face of the Southern America, of the Americas. Do we got to continue? For the Englishmen, do I got to break down who the oppressor is now? Am I painting the proper picture here?
Right.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, for the crimes of the fathers, man. The oppressor's children have to pay for the crimes of their forefathers.
Right.
And it continues to read in Isaiah chapter 14 and 20 continues to read that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. God does not want you oppressors to ever rise in this earth ever again. Recognize and understand that, man.
Right.
Did we have to continue on this troll here?
Yeah.
The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand?
Is he an oppressor? Or is he?
Yeah. Let me get your Jesus saves and heals. Amen. What is your nationality? You understand? He says you're quoting the Jewish Bible, but you hate Jews also. You are looking at the real Jews. Mm-hmm. And when did we say we hated anybody? I keep telling you, and we keep reiterating that we hate the crimes of the oppressor and what they've done to us, and that we recognize and understand that God is going to punish them for furthering our destruction. Why are you putting words in our mouth? Jesus saves and heals. Amen. Tell me your nationality.
That's right.
And then we'll address you later.
I want to know what.
Drop that in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Until then, we're done with you. Okay.
I want to know what his nationality is. Because this is what perplexes me, right? Is when you start speaking of the crimes that have been done against us, and then we always get the fingers pointed at us that we are the hate group, right? And think about this: the guy in DC said we were what they called us, the Black Ku Klux.
They always say that. They always say we the Black Ku Klux.
And think about it is, right? You
know what I asked him if I could. You know what I asked him? So when did we put a cross in somebody's lawn, sir?
Right.
When did we go out here and take a so-called white person or so-called oppressor or any other nation and hang them on a tree?
Right.
When did we burn a white church down? But we're the Black KKK. Now if you're gonna compare us to the KKK, you gotta show us what we do that they do.
That's comparable.
compare that. You understand? Because we ain't out here unaliving nobody.
And you know what? You can't even see a court case.
Come on,
that's been brought against us because of those kind of crimes.
Exactly. And look, you know, the Southern poverty loss, was it Southern poverty
Southern
loss?
poverty loss in it.
They just got indicted
Mm-hmm.
for funding the KKK.
How about that?
And they want to put us on the list like these guys are comparable to so-called terrorists or what have you.
Right.
And we don't commit no crime. We just reading the Bible, the same Bible that's collecting dust on your table. Jesus,
right? Jesus
saves and heals. Amen. That's your name. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I wonder.
What's your nationality? He's a goddamn troll.
I wonder, does he read the Bible?
I'm a black American.
Oh,
I'm a black. Oh, you had to put that American in there.
Yeah,
I'm a black American. I'm a patriot and I love God and Trump and
he got that in all.
He probably got it. Ain't in all
caps.
It ain't all caps. I'm a black American who loves Jesus.
Proud black man.
You put that American on there. Good night. Listen, man.
He really low.
That's coon language right there. This
lady
black.
But I guess what's his name again?
Jesus saves, amen.
Amen. Jesus say amen. A couple of more classes, and I can guarantee that you won't be calling yourself a black American again. You understand? Only thing it takes is just who you really are.
That's me. That's probably all he knows.
Yeah,
that's what he's grown up in Christianity.
Listen, whoa, think about this, Cap. Mm-hmm. At one point in time, we was on the same side of that line that he on right now. You understand? Now, I'm not going to say that I went to that extreme, but at the same time, we believed we were black Americans. You understand? Until we came into this school and found out who we really were. As a matter of fact, the sister was on what's her name talking about it today. All of the what they call it, all of the evidence that talked about how we were on the west coast of Africa, where they got us from the land of Judah. She just talked about that. You understand? Where there was an area called Judah where we were, where they were extracting us. The Africans were helping the Europeans extract us and put us into slavery. You understand? We come down like, what was that, 70 AD when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and you had over 1 million Jews fled into the west coast of Africa. That's real history. Into the west coast of Africa. And then all of a sudden you have a land of Judah. You have Judah right there in the midst of all of those African nations. Now think about this too, right? This is also something to think about. These African nations just about 4 or 5 years ago started apologizing for slavery. But they weren't apologizing to different African nations. They were apologizing to the blacks and the Hispanics in America today and in those Caribbean islands. They wasn't apologizing to that black African nation because they understand that they did not sell Africans into slavery. They sold the Jews into slavery. The Jewish people never went into slavery, but the Jews went into slavery. And Jew is a derivative of Judah, the children of Judah, the real Jews of the Bible. You understand?
Damn right. So today's the first wave of this show tonight. I guess he was rambling for a little bit, but yeah. Hey, listen.
I mean, because
what we do. We gotta get.
Sometimes we gotta answer some questions,
No sweat, ain't no thing. But the water for everybody checking in and engaging with the radio show. Please leave us a like and subscribe. If you have any other questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. And if we got time, we'll surely address it. All right. So make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. Yeah, we see you. We see you. All right, Black American. This is my timeline this past week. FBI, Madam, they had a Ghetto Informant program.
Right.
And my question was, Was Al Sharpton one of them cats?
Mm.
Because they say he was an informant, right?
Yes, he was. I mean, excuse me. Yes, he is.
Now, my question is, did he go in there and try to stop the rise of black people? Because he's painted as this liberationist, and you know, that whole time you sitting up there with the enemy trying to dismantle something that's prosperous for the so-called black community.
Right.
Now we're gonna go to this article, and I'm gonna also pull the actual FBI files so we can comb through some of them. All right. So let me know when you're ready, Madam. I'm gonna share the screen so everybody can see it at home.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Let me see if they can see it. All right, we lock and loaded. Right. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
It says Ghetto Informant Program. It says the GIP or Ghetto Informant Program coincided with COINTELPRO, the FBI's war on the civil rights movement. The Ghetto Informant Program was an intelligence gathering operation run by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, from the 1967 to 1973. I want to say it went longer than that. Further back, and it's still running today.
Yeah, the question is, what is it called now? Who are the informants? What organizations are they in?
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
It says its official purpose was to collect information pertaining to riots and civil unrest. Through the Ghetto Informant Program, the FBI recruited and paid more than 7,000 black and non-black people to infiltrate poor black communities in the United States in order to have them join social justice groups, churches, social clubs, and other black-centered spaces and spy on them. After the Watts riot of 1965 and further unrest in Newark and Detroit in the summer of 1967, the U.S. government mobilized to prepare for urban conflict. Its actions range from commissioning a report by the Civilian Kerner Commission to mobilizing the army to prepare for martial law in American cities. The order for GIP program came in a letter from Attorney General Ramsey Clark to FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover. Clark wrote, "We have not heretofore," what'd that say? We have not heretofore had to deal with the possibility of an organized pattern of violence constituting a violation of federal law by a group of persons who make the urban ghetto their base of operation and whose activities may not have been regularly monitored by existing intelligence sources. I mean, think about this, right? They're saying who make ghettos their base of operation, whose activities may have been regularly monitored by existing intelligence sources. Where else are we going to be at? That's where they forced us to be at. Where else can we be at? We can't be in the suburbs. They ain't allow us to live out there at them times. You understand?
And it said a possibility of an organized pattern of violence.
Right.
Possibility. They had no real evidence of any type of crimes.
No.
Most black organizations, especially in the late 60s, early 70s, it was all nonviolent.
Right.
All that walking around with firearms was for protection against white mobs.
Right.
You understand? They wasn't actively storming the goddamn Capitol.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They wasn't storming the Capitol. They wasn't doing nothing. They was just protecting black people and feeding black people. You know what I mean? But right. Black people can't be left alone. Can't be left alone. They feed themselves. They gotta bomb you. They gotta bomb your community. They gotta put that crack in your community.
Right.
They gotta make sure there's enough heroin around. They gotta make sure there's enough liquor stores on each corner. They gotta use the propaganda machine to make us hate each other. You know what I'm saying? They control that media department, that media world, in order to psychologically seduce us. It's all warfare against us,
right,
on all fronts. And like, for what though? That's the question with them. Why are we so hated I'm gonna tell you why. It's in their heart. It's in their DNA. They hate us.
Right.
Some of them local cats may not understand. They hate us because we the real Jews.
Right.
We are the salt of the earth. You understand? That's why they want to do everything. They want to be like us. They want to play they want to be musicians like us. So much so like we couldn't even play our music on their radio.
Right.
They had to get a white folk to mimic. This is why I don't want to get into music theory, music education, but they couldn't keep up with us.
Right.
That's why all them jazz artists in the 20s, they started playing fast and crazy. They couldn't keep up with Dizzy Gillespie.
Right.
They couldn't keep up with John Coltrane.
Right.
And rest in peace, Sonny Rollins just passed away. I think last week it was in the Sonny Rollins saxophone play. They can't keep up with them bebop cats, man.
Right.
So much so they can't leave us alone. They infatuated with us, man. Infatuated. Is that am I saying that word right? That's not a normal.
Yeah.
Infatuated with us, man.
But think about it, right? After hundreds of years of slavery, then into Jim Crow laws, then into black codes. After you've been think about this, right? You've been beating somebody up for so long, and then all of a sudden that person begins to grow, and now you looking at them eye to eye. You start to think like, I know they about to do something to me, and this is the thought process of the oppressor. After grinding away at a person, and now that person, you feel like that person is a step up. You understand? Now you looking eye to eye at that person. That person is not the little person that you was just macking up and beating up on. Now you feel like that person. That's the what they call it. That's the conscious catching up to the oppressor. So everything is about war with the oppressor now. You understand? And it's about war now because they know if they give you any kind of footing, that you're going to run over them. Think about what happened with Black Wall Street and what's the other one? Rosewood, Seneca Village, and all of these black towns that begin to pop up right during the Great Depression. When the oppressor began to fall because of the Great Depression, black people started rising up. Why? Because we had to depend, and that's what we was talking about earlier. You understand? This is what happens when the doctrine of exclusion has non-existent. When you leave black people alone and leave them to their own devices, they begin to climb up over top of you. That's the fear of the oppressor. So the oppressor had to stomp all of that out, create all kinds of laws, reenact. What's the law that they use the most now? The one where they can come in and just take your property.
Property tax?
No. It's a law that they use.
I forget what it's called, but the government, if they want to seize your land,
they want to seize your land. They can seize your land, and we talked about that last week. If you look at the roads in America, sometimes you say, well, why didn't they just make the road straight? Because they seized land from black people, and they had to, because they created a law said they can take your land if they needed to make a road or an industrialized building. They could take your land and not give you any compensation for it. It was eminent domain.
Eminent domain, you're right.
Eminent domain, right? And that's a law that they use so they could run roads through black cities and towns. You look at Philadelphia, right through the heart of the ghetto of Philadelphia is their main, one of their main highways going through. The highway when me and my youngest used to go up to Philly all the time. It goes straight through the main, black neighborhood, straight through. You know what I mean? And this is something that they use. And these are the laws that they have created. This is why we basically handcuffed in America. You understand? You can't make a move without the government knowing and things like that. You understand? So this is some of the propaganda that they use. You understand? You start looking back, look at some of those black codes, and you'll start saying, like, these things are reenacted today. Think about this. If they can gerrymander, and everybody saying on the news that they gerrymandered in Louisiana and then took seats and gave them, and the Republicans going to capture seats in all of these southern black cities and towns now. I mean, think about it, right? You have no power. This is what we talk about when we talk about going, all of these black faces in all these high places, and they can't do anything about it because they're being paid for those black faces sitting there. We keep looking at our people up there, and they keep telling us, well, all we have to do is get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. Been voting since 1954. 1954 been voting, and nothing has changed.
Speaking of voting, Jesus says guy got a question about that. He says Democrats created the KKK and Jim Crow. Why do blacks mostly vote for Democrats? And let me
You want to
express something real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
White Democrats created the KKK.
Right. White
Democrats created Jim Crow. Just a minor correction on your spelling error there.
Right.
It's the problem ain't particularly of a party. They all play this. You're so wrapped up in political theatrics, and you may not recognize and understand that you're just watching the show. And also this, you're a pawn in their show. You're a pawn in their game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any real power to move a king, man. To move a queen.
Nope.
It's political theatrics now. But why they've been taught to vote a particular way. And we see either way ain't gonna help us no way.
Right.
The Lord don't want us to vote. The Lord want us to follow his laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
That's what the Lord wants. That's how we get free from these goddamn devils, man. Okay? You want to go add on to what that? Or?
Yeah, just like you were saying, though, Cap. Listen, whether it be Democrats or Republican, it's two wings of the same bird. That bird is going in a particular direction, right? And that bird needs blacks and Hispanics as slaves. So regardless of what side you on, the outcome is always going to be the same. Think about it, right? What happened when Bill Clinton was the president?
Right.
Nothing for black people. What happened when Obama was president? Nothing for black people. Let's go back. Let's say what happened when Ronald Reagan was president. Mm-hmm. Nothing for black people. Bush, nothing for black people. You understand? No matter what side you're on, Republican or Democrat, there's nothing for black people. Think about it. Just like we just said, been voting since 1954, and nothing has changed for black people. We still going through the same. Listen, instead of a horse, they allowing you to buy a car. You understand? Instead of living in a small shack, they're allowing you to live in an apartment. Mm-hmm. You understand? It's nothing different, because living in that shack and riding that horse, you were working for the slave master. Driving that car, living in that apartment, you still working for the slave master. Nothing has changed. Listen, times are the only thing that change, but the things that are happening within time is not going to change. You understand? Eventually it's going to change, because the Bible tells us that the Most High is going to destroy our oppressor. Right. You understand? The problem is we have to see what's going on. All that gerrymandering, everybody, oh my, I can't believe what's going on. How can't you believe what's going on? Listen, it doesn't matter whether you vote or not. Your condition is not going to change, especially if you believe in America, when you're living in the spirit of America. What does it mean to live in the spirit of America? If you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're living in the spirit of America. You understand? If you celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving to appease and to fill the pockets of the oppressor, you're living in the spirit of America. You understand? Of course, we have to work for the oppressor because we're on the bottom right now. But there's going to be a time when we are going to rule this earth. You understand? But the problem is we have to, our thinking has to change. You understand? And if we continue to think that we need the oppressor, because you see in history what happens when we're left to our own devices, when we're left to depend on ourselves. Listen, the scriptures say, Zephaniah 2:1 says, gather yourself together, O nation not desired.
Mhm.
The first thing that we have to recognize is that we are a nation of people that are not desired. We're not desired by the Arabs. We're not desired by the Asians. We're not desired by the East Indians, nor the oppressor. You understand? We are the only people that believe everybody needs to love everybody. Everybody got to come together. Think about this, right? Somebody tell me, how many Asians do you see at the voting polls?
Right.
How many Arabs do you see racing to the voting poll?
What Asian leader is saying get out and vote?
Get out and vote. You understand? Listen, think about this. What oppressor says to the Asians, you're not really Asian if you don't vote for me?
What's their party?
Yeah, tell me the Asian.
What's their main party? Jesus saves and heals, amen. He's still in there talking mess.
What are you talking about?
But we gonna get to it. But he talking mess. He need help. We gonna help you in a little bit.
My
though.
day go fast.
My
day go fast.
No sweat. But I want to get a little bit more in this article. It's so heavy.
You want me to finish up?
Yeah, we're gonna get a little bit more on that article.
Okay. I'm at the end, right after the GIP program came in a letter. I'm on that next paragraph.
Yeah, right after existing intelligence sources.
Right. Yep. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I got Dickens.
It says, as a part of the broad investigation, which must necessarily be conducted, sources of informants and Black nationalist organizations, SNCC, and other less publicized groups should be developed and expanded to determine the size and purpose of these groups and their relationship to other groups, and also to determine the whereabouts of persons who might be involved in instigating riot activity in violation of federal law. That's a thing that we see all the time too. Think about this, right? We see people come down and incite riots, right? But it's never our people that are the ones that are inciting riots. It's always oppressors that come in and help to begin to incite riots to destroy our neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's never us. You understand? But in the end, we begin to participate with the oppressor. Again, that's living in the spirit of America, because the Americans are the real terrorists of the earth. Those are the real rioters. When you see the oppressor out there, you're looking at a real terrorist, a real rioter.
Right.
You understand? That's what they do. Let me get back into this article. The program was targeted at those likely to have information about ghetto happenings. Thus, according to an internal memo, it included people such as the proprietor of a candy store or a barber shop in a ghetto area. Think about that, right? As long as I've been living, right? Of course, when you go into a barber shop, we always talk news, sports, and different things like that.
Okay.
You understand? When you talk about something that's happening to your people, that's not like closed information. That's not something that's not a hidden thing. We speak amongst each other about the things that are happening in our community. When you go into a candy store, who talks about news and things that are happening in the candy store? A lot of this is propaganda too. You understand? They want to make you believe that these are the places and these are the things that we got to destroy. Mm-hmm. You understand? When the oppressor wants to destroy something, he always points a finger at something. You understand? And makes a reason to go in and drop a bomb. Okay. You understand? What was that? The move movement in 1985 in Philadelphia that they bombed all of those. Listen, think about this.
That was the first aerial attack, right?
Yeah, the first aerial attack in America by real Americans. You understand? For one house, they destroyed about 3.5 neighborhoods. For one house. That goes to show you how they don't care.
That's hate.
That's hate. Exactly. That's hate. You understand? And then on top of it, where did they find a lot of those people's remains at? At Harvard and Yale, studying the bones of people you destroyed. That's hate right there. That's real hate. You understand? Now, tell me, when have we put, the bones of the people we destroyed in schools for our children to study?
I'll give you one more. Show us the people that we destroyed.
Rich, show us the people that we destroyed. Yeah, how about that? You know what I mean? Show us the people we destroyed.
Meanwhile, you're so infatuated with us that you gotta implant informants in our black organizations to prevent uprising. You don't want black people to be successful in any way. You claim you're liberal. You claim you're for all people and all races, but secretly you hate black people.
Right.
Yep. Behind closed doors with your Republican friends or your Democratic friends, you lock the door, you have your private conversations. That's when you're talking down on other black folk.
Right. And think about this, right? So, Salaki, if I may, Cap, that's the whole issue right there. It's not that they spying to find out the evil goings on, right? The problem is we hope they don't find a way out. We hope they don't find their way up. Think about this. This is the reason why they put us on the Southern Poverty Law Center. That's why they put us in that. What's the name? When I first started hearing about the UPK, I said it to one of the brothers that used to coach football with me, right? And the first thing, because I didn't even know, the first thing came out of his mouth, ain't that the guy that's the head of the hate group? Talking about Commanding General Yohana. I didn't know nothing about that. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I was like, nah, you wrong. You know what I mean? Out of my mind, I'm saying he wrong. I guess, you understand, spiritually, I was telling them he was wrong. You understand? But, this is, and he knew about that before me. You know what I mean? So they put the propaganda out there so that other people don't come in, other people don't join. You understand? So that you stay at a minimum. You understand? Because think about this, right? Even with the some of the movements that gathered up a lot of people. Look at those movements now. You understand? They nowhere. You understand? They nowhere. And when they hear you doing something or uplifting your people, this is when you become a target. This is the reason why a lot of people they don't worry about. This is the reason why you have people that they do worry about. You have people that they do put on a hate group or a hate list. You understand? I got these. I messed with this metal today. I got these little splinters in my fingers, boy, killing my fingers.
That's what you want to get a little bit more of this article.
Come on, sir. Come on. Yep.
What's up? Continue to touch on it, but this is skimming through a document. There are a lot of he was redacting stuff back then, even in the 70s.
Informants.
They're protecting. They're protecting their informant,
right?
And they're protecting the information of what organizations they infiltrated.
Right.
Why is that? Maybe their mission was complete.
Yep. Anybody
ever think about that? Because you got a lot of black leaders that died in that era. You got Fred Hampton, you got Martin Luther King, you got Malcolm X. Those were very prominent so-called black leaders then.
Yep.
And we don't have an idea of who the informants were.
Right.
Did the informants, later find their life in life of politics and, black marches or what have you on CNN and BBC, Al Sharpton and what's the one of the brothers that just passed? Jesse Jackson.
Right.
Were those informants?
Pay you enough money, man.
You know, the NAACP should be putting pressure on the FBI and the the U.S. government to release the files of this organization that purposely sought out nonviolent organizations that supported the black community.
Right.
We up in arms about the Epstein files, which you should be. But where is the NAACP ever going to put their foot down? The NAACP is an organization. They just like for show. Like a for show. We've been here since this year, for 100 years. Right. Even back there in the 20s, they wanted to make sure the public housing was integrated because they didn't believe if it wasn't integrated with the so-called white folk,
right,
that it wasn't going to be any type of success or what have you. Without even back then, that theory, if it ain't including the white community, is going to be horrible. Why do we think like that?
Mm-hmm. And you know what? They appeased them back in those days too. They let a few white people move in, but they eventually moved out. You understand? And it eventually became what they wanted it to become, all black. You understand?
But the thing is, the housing program was mainly set up for white folk in the beginning.
Right.
It was mainly for white folk after the wars and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the whole history, man. Your gave me this book. I forget what it's called, y'all. But in the beginning of that book, it was speaking on the NAACP and their involvements. The whole book is about realizing. I mean, goddamn.
Because this is the thing, though. They believe, and I'm talking about like the places like the NAACP, the Christian Church, and things like that. They believe if white people include it, then it's going to be good. You understand? That's the whole thing with it. You understand? And we don't believe that we can build anything for black people and it be successful, it be good. The only thing we have to do is pull ourselves away from the oppressor. We have an example. We have many examples of it. Mm-hmm. You understand? And we always go back to that, but we can't live it again. You understand? A lot of us are too afraid to detach ourselves from the oppressor. And the oppressor knows that. That's why he allows black people to become senators and congressmen. Because once you become a senator or a congressman, you have to literally pledge your allegiance to America. You understand? And once you pledge your allegiance to America, then you begin not to do the things that you say you want to do for black people, because that's how you keep your job.
You're so right. You're so right about that. A lot of black folk, Hispanic folk, and Native American folk are scared to come up or be in opposition to anything that America's about, or anything political, because they're scared of the white man. Like this Troy here, Jesus Saves and Heals guy. He's really, we've seen him 1,000 times.
Right.
He's scared of a society where there's only black people.
Right.
He's scared of a society where black people are in rulership, because he looks up to the white man like a savior.
Right.
We've become subservient unto this nation, unto these people, that we don't even think in our mind that we can survive without the oppressor.
Right.
So just like a woman in an abusive relationship, she needs the security and the money from that man that's abusing her, that's beating her, that's sexually abusing her. Just a horrible person, clings on to the man.
Right.
And lies to herself and says that I love him and he's going to change. Yeah. And we're going to make it work and we're going to fight because we're married. Well, you should be running like hell.
Right.
Because you're getting beat up. Okay? You're getting hit up upside the head, scaring the children. That's like our relationship with the white man.
Right.
I know Jesus Saves God. He didn't want me to say the white man. But I'm sorry, your daddy that you love so much your daddy that you love so much, and you want to go to the Christmas party with him, and you want to marry his daughter. You want to marry the slave master's daughter so much. You want to kiss him in the mouth so much. I'm telling you, man.
Right.
You're being deceived. And you're so scared to be without master. You're so scared to get off the plantation. Why don't you be a man?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you have faith in yourself and your people? He put a message on here. I'm proud of Ben Carson. I'm proud of some other black leaders. Of course, man. We in Baltimore. Ben Carson's from Baltimore.
Let me ask.
Ain't he from Baltimore?
Yeah, he's from Baltimore.
Ben Carson's from Baltimore. I was proud. Growing up, they made us read his damn book. It was boring as hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the hell? This guy, his audio books, his interviews is trash. But nonetheless, he's a coon. I'm an adult now, and I can see what a coon is and what a coon is, especially here in a UPK. You understand? Recognize and understand this. You are scared to live without your oppressor. Because you've been abused. You've been beat down to a powder that you are afraid to break free from the people that enslaved you, murdered you, raped, lynched, oppressed for hundreds of years. That's how scared you are. So much so that I'm going to get out and vote. I'm a proud Black American. But you can stop me at any time. So much so, well, that's in the past. Well, that's the FBI back in those days.
Right.
Back in those days, you know how it was back in the day. A decade later, they putting crack in your communities. We're talking about 10 years later after this article. 10 years later after this file and the late 60s, right?
Yep.
Early 70s and then 71.
Yep. 70.
Now you got the crack. Now you got the 73. Now you got the crack epidemic.
Yep.
10 years later, this is the same FBI. I wonder what the did the FBI have something to do in the 90s with them ecstasy pills?
Yeah.
Did they have something to do with that? It's because the track record just seems like they got some involvement with the destruction of Black people, Matham.
Well, think about this, right, Salak, if I may. Think about all these federal agencies, CIA, FBI, and all of them. A lot of them have immunity and have power over your state. They operate
they federal
outside
agents.
They operate outside of national law. Laws that are in this nation right here, that those federal agencies operate outside of those laws. Think about this, right? If they didn't, how did all the drugs come into Baltimore and Philadelphia during the what was that?
The war?
No, the epidemic we had a couple years ago.
During the pandemic.
How did all of those drugs? Think about this: 33,000 pounds of cocaine coming into the port of Philadelphia. 330 pounds. June the 19th. What's that? What was that? June 19th, 2019. Something like that. June 9th, or something around there. June 2019. On the same day. They got caught in Philadelphia and in Baltimore. Nobody got arrested for it. You understand? But whenever you get one shipment that gets caught, 3 shipments go through. Everything got shut down during that pandemic except for drugs.
Dang.
How is that? You can't even get toilet paper. You can't even get bottled water, but you can get drugs. You understand? How is that? You understand? You can't go in there and get bread. You can't go get crackers. You can't go get anything, but you can get drugs though. How is that? You understand? That's a war on Black people. No matter what happens, we're gonna make sure they get them drugs in the neighborhood.
I learned that early on coming into UPK. They have war on drugs, especially in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And in many cities alike.
Yep.
That term war on drugs was definitely a war on us.
That was a code word.
Mhm.
A war on blacks, a war on Hispanics, because it happened to them too.
And then with this opium outbreak, it wasn't a war on opium.
Right.
Now we're in the era of recovery. Now we're
Right.
now that the talks was like, oh, we got to get everybody help, and we got to get them off of the drugs, and we got to get them in a rehab.
Sympathize with them.
We got to sympathize with the addicts because, it wasn't, back in Reagan, they were saying just say no.
Yeah.
Well, how about you not put the crack here?
How about that?
How about you just do that? Can we start there?
Yep.
All the technology and military might that you have, you would think they can stop a drug from coming into the United States of America. You think that? No, because white people love their cocaine.
Yeah.
They love them white folk love. It's a part of their culture, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't even they don't even hide it. Go to them, go. I pray you don't go to what do they call it? PWIs, predominantly white institution.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
PWI, a college.
Right.
I pray you don't go to one of those because you're gonna pick up a horrible cocaine addiction.
That's if you live through it.
That's if you live through the shame and the what do them fraternities do?
They unalive you, man.
What do they call them? Hazing. If you survive the hazing, because you want to be a friend to the white man so much. You want to be his buddy. You want to go to the frat party. You want to talk to the white girl. You want to be a part of white society.
Right.
When you should just be black, young. Come on here in the UPK. We're gonna accept you, man.
Right.
You're black. We're gonna get you an all black. We're gonna learn. We're gonna teach you.
Train you up.
We're gonna train you up. We're gonna get you nice and militant. You're gonna be a man. You're gonna be the man you always wanted to be.
And see, militant, and we gotta understand, militant doesn't. We're not talking about our oppressor militant. You understand?
We talking about being a man
against the law. You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
We mean standing up for righteousness. And whenever you stand up for righteousness, you can't break the law. You understand? Following the laws, statutes, and commandments, you can't break the oppressor's laws. The laws that they have on the books, because they do have some illegal laws, you understand? But for the most part, following righteousness, you can't break the oppressor's laws.
And sister, you gonna come in here too, and you're gonna be a princess. You are going to be a woman. It is required.
Right.
You're gonna be nice. You're not gonna be a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
He
right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get in order in here. You understand? Yeah. And that's the culture that the earth needs. The earth needs for righteous rulership. It needs righteous rulership. And that's what we on the way to. We right on the doorstep of the entire earth being
in order.
In order. That's exactly in order.
Salaki, if I may, sir.
Please.
I don't want you to get past this because we don't.
You want me to turn this down, son?
No, it's good. No, it's good. We don't get on this or nothing. And I'm talking about with our sisters. You understand? Because there was a time where sisters didn't shame themselves on the street. I'm not saying that nothing ever happened, but if you look at 30 or 40 years ago, how the sisters would carry themselves on the street, and it began to change then. You understand? In the 90s
and the 80s.
In the 80s, you understand? But think about all the way up until 1987 and 88, how the music used to be, right? When you seen sisters rapping and things like that, it was always inspirational, emotional, and uplifting.
Lauren,
not to say
you can name,
not to say that, but
Lauren, what's the Queen Latifah, another sister.
But too. even with MC Light, right? The way that she carried herself, it wasn't to the extreme. And you had sisters that loved sisters. Think about what we looking at right now, right? Because sisters back then emulated those sisters, right? And I'm not talking about what they into right now, but upstanding and strong. You understand? Sisters that stood with their men. You understand? As opposed to trying to be out in front and be all that you can be. You understand? Remember this. The black family consists of the man, the woman, and the child, not the woman, and that's it. And that's what a lot of sisters looking at now. When you look at these shows, especially Atlanta Housewives and all of these shows that's like that, if you look at them and they say they are friends, if you look at how they act towards each other, it's no way that they could be friends.
100%.
You understand? 100% they couldn't be friends. And the reason why they act like that, because our oppressor has destroyed our women so much so that women will do anything for money now. I remember when a woman would cuss you out if you said, I'll buy you this if you do this. You understand? If you ain't got to do nothing for me, if I like you, understand. Now women can be bought with anything. Now, if you think about this too, right? A woman can have nothing and demand everything from a man, and a man is supposed to accept that, but a woman won't accept a man with nothing. You understand? A woman won't stand with a man to help build a man up. A man got already be built up when a woman meet him. That's how you know a nation is destroyed, when everything is out of order. When women and men don't come together, the nation's destroyed. You understand? Look at us. This is why we stand. This is why this nation looks the way it does. You understand? I'm not talking about here in the UPK, but I'm talking about our people as a whole. This is why we look the way we look. And this is the reason why nations that look in at us and see what we're portrayed as on a TV screen or a movie screen, this is the reason why they treat us the way they treat us. You understand? And again, it comes back to gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We are the only people who don't understand that we are not desired by the other nations. Remember that saying, the saying that we've been using for 1,000 years now, we all we got. And that's literally true. You understand? The Most High says it. You understand? Gather yourself together, O nation not desired. We got 12 tribes. We don't need any of these other nations outside of the 12 tribes. We got everything that you can think of right here inside of us. I yield, sir. You want to get back into this article?
Yeah, we can. Let's get a little bit more.
Or did you want to go to the next one?
We can get a little bit more on this.
Okay.
And I'll pull up that.
Because they got the informants right here monitored.
Let's get it.
It says informants monitor key black extremists such as Martin Luther King Jr. And we knew that. The papers came out on him last year. You understand?
They got the Martin Luther King file. He was y'all go through them files, man. He was a goddamn freak.
Yeah.
He was having all types of orgies and gay orgies. Listen, man, we just reading the files.
Listen, just the file. Listen, and all you got to do is pull up the Martin Luther King files. You can get it. Everybody got it. You understand? Listen, it says extremists such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, and he was heavy. H. Rap Brown was heavy out there to bring the people together. You understand? Huey Newton and more. You understand? It says one of the first major projects involving the GIP was Operation POCAM, the FBI's effort to monitor and disrupt the 1968 Poor People's Campaign. Informants were later asked to report on African-American bookstores and investigate the existence of subversive literature undermining America, talking against America. You understand? Talking about what's better than America. You understand? Which is probably what we do in here. You understand?
More or less. Because why? Because America has particular values that diminish your morality. You understand? Have you following after the other gods?
Right.
have you following false practices, following Christmas, you know what I'm saying, following July the 4th, bowing down, to things you ought not to.
Right.
Have you following, absolute wickedness.
Yeah.
So they're going to deem that as submissive literature.
Subversive literature.
Or subversive. Oh, it was wrong. Subversive literature, meaning you don't want to. We can't read. That's what they. That's why they got that critical race theory.
Right.
Because you point out the crimes of the oppressor.
Yep.
Slavery happened in America. That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact that's a part of American history that they don't want to be shamed about. They don't want to be shamed about, and really, they don't want to be shamed about this. These are foul.
Yeah, you know what? Because
that's why they got to redact and redact and redact. They got to redact the Epstein file because they don't want to look like horrible pieces of trash that they are.
Oh, Salaki, if I may, it's heavy that you brought that Epstein file.
Come on now.
During the Iran-Contra scandal of the 1980s, a lot of people didn't know that Epstein had a team of Mossad agents cleaning out those planes that were bringing the drugs in to America and put into, black cities and towns. You understand, where black people were putting into our neighborhoods. That was part of Epstein's business right there. You understand? So Epstein goes way back, and Epstein hated black people too. I don't care how much you see these people smile in your face, shake your hand, and say they like you. At the end of the day, when they open their shirt and they got that swastika on their chest or that white power symbol on their chest, that's what they're about. You understand? They have to make you comfortable being around them. You understand? In order to take advantage of you. And that's what America does. America gets you comfortable in the circumstances. Comfortable enough where you'll turn your back on them and they can stab you in it. You understand? I mean that literally too. It will. You understand? How many times have you seen a black child go to a all white event and end up unalived? Go to a sleepover, only black child there, and that's the only person that ends up unalive. That has happened on several occasions. You understand? And we keep trusting in these people. We keep taking these people for granted. You understand? And we keep saying, well, they'll, eventually if we show them enough love. Listen, when you start ignoring them, when you start going about your business, when you start loving your own, listen, if you start taking that love that you give and that you're pushing on them and start giving to your people, you'll see the real side of them. A lot of us don't see the real side because we're giving and giving and giving and never receiving. That's what we was talking about earlier about that vote. As long as you keep giving of yourself and your time, you never going to receive anything. I mean, think about it, right? It's like we said, Asians don't vote, Arabs don't vote, East Indians don't vote. We're the only ones out there voting, and everybody else is benefiting at our expense. I yield, sir.
Heavy and valid points at that. We taking we don't recognize and understand here in the Israelite school. The Israelite school and UPK is here to, because like we my thumb if I could. We arrogant. You know what I'm saying? We so what does the scripture call us then? Stiff neck.
Stiff neck people.
Stiff neck people.
Mm-hmm. Just like you arrogant. Yeah, arrogant. Yeah. We're arrogant people. You understand?
Just in other words, it's the same thing.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah, something on that.
No, like you said, we like to go in our own direction. We like to listen to ourselves. You understand? We don't want to be coached. We don't want to be told where we're wrong at. You understand? And that's how you come out with all of these shows that depict us as a horrible people. You understand? We are horrible people. We allow them to depict us as that. You understand? We get shamed by the Atlanta Housewives. You understand? We get shamed by the what they say, Married to Medicine. You understand? We get shamed by all of those shows, Black Ink, and all of those. Show the dumb side of people. What's that? Hip hop. What they call it?
Atlanta
Hip hop. We get shamed by those shows.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
get a couple calls.
Yeah, you understand? We get shamed by that.
Yeah.
We destroyed as a people. You understand? And we allowing our image to be tarnished. And think about this, right? When you look at the oppressor's image, especially in movies and in TV shows, they're always the hero. You understand? They're always the wise one. You understand? They're always the rational one. They're always the ones that say, oh, well, let's think about this. You understand? Let's think this thing through. When we know they're the ones that jump off the handle. They're the ones that's ready to drop the bomb. You understand? They're the ones that's destroying the earth. You understand? What's the scripture say? Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
God, is this the man?
Is this the man that made the earth to tremble? How does our oppressor make the earth tremble? Dropping those bombs. You understand? Destroying city after city, country after country. Think about this, right? How do you get a North and South Korea? That's the oppressor's doing. You understand?
Why is Pakistan against India?
India. Think about it. They the same people.
Come on, man.
Wait a minute. Let's go even deeper. How do you get an Iran and an Iraq?
Come on, y'all.
Those are the same people. That was America that destroyed them. Then think about this, right? They gave chemical weapons to Saddam Hussein to use on the Iranians. Then after they got
listen, if I could, this is the number one deceiver.
Yeah.
Deceiver of the earth, and then turn around and point finger. Not to cut you off.
No, you got it. You got it.
And then point, like, we don't understand the level of propaganda, or it's like, or not only understand, we choose to even acknowledge it,
right?
Because we're so wrapped up into America being, well, you know, America, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, and that's that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have the mental capacity to think past that because of the propaganda, Maton.
Listen, we have it. We just choose not to use it because of the propaganda so strong of America. Just like I tell you, every time we get on this subject, I always tell you about the Dream Team. The Dream Team had me in the spirit of America wholeheartedly, to the point where I was like, nobody can beat us.
Right.
Everything was us. We are the greatest. You understand?
No,
real Americans
take black folk out of that.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. Listen, real Americans are not great. Blacks and Hispanics are great. Natives are great. But real Americans, the Irish, the Swedish, the Europeans, you understand? The Polish, the Germans, none of them are great. Think about this, right? Tell me their greatest athlete, and I'm going to tell you a word. Say their greatest. Somebody pick their greatest athlete, a European athlete. Pick the greatest European athlete.
You probably can't even name it. As soon as you think,
but
they probably can't even name it.
Listen. Somebody going to name Tom Brady, though, right?
Right.
And then when you look at Tom Brady, right? And when you look at what was built around Tom Brady and what Tom Brady didn't have to do, and every time he came, think about this, right? I understand he won a lot of Super Bowls, right? But look at the division he was in and the division he was after. Now, I don't want to get too far off, but he was in the weakest division in football, right?
We're gonna be talking. We got the One West
But I just want to get this real quick. We got sports too, right? But listen, and I'm saying this because we always look at white people as though they're the greatest.
I'll pull up the banner, y'all.
But They was in the weakest division in football. What was the strongest division in football when Tom Brady won all those Super Bowls? The AFC Central. Who was in the AFC Central?
That was the Ravens in there, right?
Yeah, that was Baltimore. Well, listen,
Tennessee.
that was Baltimore.
Tennessee.
They were the Houston Oilers at the time. That's with Eddie George.
Then it turned to
Tennessee. But they was
that was like in 93.
The 90s. That was the 90s, right?
It was in 93. They changed to
they changed the Titans,
if I'm not mistaken.
Not 93, wasn't it?
Because Houston,
because Eddie George was still running with the Houston Oilers.
Okay.
When they was playing all the Ravens games. But think about let's not get too deep. Now we ain't gonna get too deep there. But I'm just trying to show you how Tom Brady won all those.
If we start talking about football,
because you had Tennessee, you had the Ravens, you had the Steelers, you had Cincinnati. All of them had to beat up on each other the whole year. They always came out hurt up by the time they hit the playoffs. That's how Tom Brady.
Matter of fact, because the Ravens ain't coming until 96 though.
95.
So what
95.
So it couldn't have been the Oilers at that time. It had to be the Titans.
But either way, right? It was the strongest division in football.
You're right.
You understand? Cleveland Browns was up and down even in the early 90s, right? Which made that division solid from top to bottom. You understand? Where was the Jets at?
They never been.
Buffalo just came off of 3 losses in the Super Bowl. You understand what I'm saying? 4. Because they lost twice to the Cowboys in 93 and 94.
So you got the Jets.
The Jets was where they was at after Mark Gastineau left.
It was
nowhere.
Nothing for a long time.
Where was Buffalo after Jim Kelly left?
There was nothing at the. What's the brother that?
Where was
running back? What's the running back? Everybody hate. All the white folk hate him. Damn, the running back. They run for 2,000 yards every year for like a couple years.
You talking about Walter Payton?
Walter Buffalo Bills.
Oh, you talking about
the man.
You talking about
the glove. OJ. Damn
it. Oh yeah. But think about this, right? But from top to bottom at the time in the 90s. You understand?
We talking about black excellence, y'all.
Yeah. But from top to bottom, that division had to beat each other up to see who was going to the Super Bowl.
And they was cheating too.
Now, who else was in the AFC that could compete in any other division? That's why Tom Brady said at the end of the day, he hated to see the Ravens. He liked it when they beat each other up. The Steelers, the Titans, and the Ravens beat each other up. So by the time they came to see us, everybody was hurt. You understand? The Ravens would have won a whole lot more Super Bowl.
Matter of fact, they should have won the one, but Billy Cundiff missed that kick. He went over to
it was a lot of playoff games that I think I was a Raven fan when the Cowboys was losing.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of those Ravens games that I seen. That
was Harbaugh there at that time with Billy Cundiff, or was it still I forget his goddamn name.
Who for the Ravens?
Yeah, because they only had 2 coaches.
You talking about Bill, not Bill Cowher. I'm going to say Bill Cowher, but Belichick.
Let me get it.
Brian Billick.
I always get it because I was thinking Belichick is a Patriots.
That was Brian Billick.
I always get their names confused. Brian Billick was
Brian Billick.
He was one of them. He was one of them. Yeah, he was one of them. Yeah. He in the Ring of Honor.
Ernest Biner, when they first came to Baltimore, Ernest Biner.
Hey, this segment here is a One West News
sports
desk. Let me put the banner up. Y'all ain't know we had this, did you? Look at that banner right there.
Hey, look, they waiting for us to talk about the basketball side. Wembanyama. What's his name? They won too, right?
Yeah, they're going to the final.
I like to see the Knicks beat them.
Hell yeah. But they
7 feet though, right? Who can stop you? That was 7 feet.
He a bully on the court at that point. You know what I mean?
But look at him though, man. You think he could bully Shaq like that? A young Shaq that was running up and down that court?
He can't bully Shaq, but he got more skills than Shaq as far as the shooting range and everything like that. But that's besides the point. But that's your One West News Sports
Yeah.
segment,
Right.
sidebar or what have you. We do got a news segment. Look out for the One West News Sports, One West News Sports coming real soon with Officer Ganaya Allah.
Right.
Gonna be inserting segments inside the show. So,
Oh yeah. Go
listen,
Cowboys.
no, I don't know about all that. I don't
Go
know.
Cowboys.
I don't know about all that,
Hey,
but
look, we nice this year. We're gonna be nice.
we'll see.
Hey, listen, last
But
3
look,
years,
I just put the banner up on the media joint, so they probably see that online. But
okay.
I
I jumped ship
Okay,
the
now.
last 3 years.
yeah, he's bandwagon.
I jumped the bandwagon. I'm gonna jump the bandwagon every time on the Cowboys. If I jump the bandwagon, I go straight to the Ravens. You know what I mean? After the Ravens, I ain't no fan of nobody. If both of them losing, I ain't no fan of nobody.
It's hard to watch it after that.
Yeah, I can't even watch. Listen, that's why I said the last 3 years with the Cowboys, I jumped ship.
But if I'm rooting for somebody, I'm rooting for a black quarterback or whoever got the most black people on the team.
There you go.
Straight up.
So
Even if
you can't lose with the Ravens.
even though I cannot stand Kansas City, their quarterback is black.
right? Yeah.
But I was rooting for Hurts though.
I was happy for
I was happy for Hurts.
Oh yeah,
Hurts, sure.
yeah. Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean?
Hold on.
Because they don't let us.
We're gonna drop this article though, y'all.
They don't let us shine. They don't let us shine like that. You understand what I'm saying? And it's always something when a black quarterback is winning. It's always something. Just like with Donovan McNabb, right? Yo,
he was great. He was great.
You don't go to that many Super Bowls, and then think about it, right? They had a nice defense. You understand what I'm saying? They had a nice defense. They had a nice team, but sometimes you just come up against the wrong teams at the wrong time. You know what I mean? But to me, he one of the greatest quarterbacks they had, and I got to go behind Randall Cunningham and who else they had over there? They had Mike Vick for a little bit. You know what I mean? But Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, and Mike Vick, that's it. And Jalen Hurts now, you know what I mean? They've been winning though. To me, they winning. You know what I mean? Anybody win with a black quarterback if treated properly. You understand? Tom Brady was not a scrambler, so they had to build an offensive line around him in a division that sucked. That's not hard. That's not hard at all. So like I said, again, go Cowboys. You understand? This is our season. Right here,
you keep saying that, go Cowboys. Like I'm gonna let that slide on the show.
Go Cowboys.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look.
Year,
hey, don't.
man.
Hey, look. Hold up. Don't get offended, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't. They said y'all say that. Yeah. Don't get offended. Everybody in the sports world, he grew up in a different era.
Listen,
with Cowboy fans is in every state.
Just know this, right? If anything happens with the Cowboys, I'm jumping ship to the Ravens. Just know that. You know what I mean? I ain't ashamed to say it. The Cowboys lose and I'm jumping ship. I just did it 3 years in a row. You know what I mean? Shit, I ain't got no problem with it. Call me what you want, spell my name right. Listen, man, but what's this next article you want to get?
I'm gonna get on Israel, this recent ceasefire deal. And really what happened was like
you sent it to me?
I didn't send it to you yet.
Okay.
I ain't sent it to you yet, but it it's like every week we get news of what? We get news of a new ceasefire. We get news of a negotiation.
Hey, can I ask you a question before you go any further? What is a ceasefire?
They're supposed to stop.
Because when I was young, I always thought a ceasefire was once you had a ceasefire, all the fighting stopped. All the guns, no firing, no bomb shooting, and nothing like that. I've never heard of a ceasefire where you continually bombing somebody or something. You understand? So it's baffling to me because people keep coming on the news, and these supposed to be educated people, and they keep talking about, well, the ceasefire is on, but Israel is still bombing southern Lebanon. You know what I mean? I'm baffled because they keep calling it a ceasefire when the firing has not stopped.
And listen, it was the same deal with the Gaza Strip. It's propaganda.
Right.
They stringing everybody along. It's political theatrics and propaganda to try to sway the masses to a particular viewpoint.
Right.
But this is what we got to recognize and understand is this, right? The man of sin is being revealed. Ain't nobody falling for this particular propaganda anymore. Why is that, Matham?
For the bubbling.
Because we seen what they did in Gaza.
Right.
And really before Gaza even started, we seen what happened in America.
Yeah.
You understand? We seen the craftiness they did with Japan. The Red Army destroyed Japan.
Right.
The war was over.
And they dropped them bombs
Anyway. They dropped the bombs anyway on innocent civilians. This wasn't a military strategic strike. You dropped it like imagine it, a bomb getting dropped on civilians here in America after a surrender.
Right.
You'd be like, yo,
well, think about
what
this.
the hell?
Think about this, right? I'm gonna tell you how horrible they were. They were so hard. This is how horrible they were. They wanted to see the effects of that bomb. After the Japanese had already surrendered to the Soviets, the Red Army, they wanted to see the effects of a bomb. If that's not a beast, if that's not a monster, you have to tell me what is. You understand what I'm saying? This is incredible. They dropped a bomb on Hiroshima first. Then 3 days later, they dropped the bomb on Nagasaki. They wanted to see the effects and what would happen to a people if they were hit by that bomb. Listen, they said that bomb left the shadows of people on buildings and streets. That's horrible. That's horrible. You understand? But only a beast could do something like that. Only a beast. The beast, listen, that's the man of perdition. That's the man of destruction. Now, if you want to know who the man of destruction is, who dropped those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? That's the man of perdition. You understand? What does the Bible says, be not deceived by any means. And the problem is because we listen to the oppressor so much, we believe in the oppressor so much that we allow ourselves to be deceived by him. Go ahead, sir.
On the nuclear strikes against Japan. If you ever seen that movie, The Thunderbolts, right?
What's that again?
It's a Marvel movie called The Thunderbolts. That came out last year with
the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it was with the
You know, I'm not a movie person.
Hold up.
I gotta get that. I gotta see that.
It was real good. It was a real. I might watch that tomorrow.
The Thunderbolts.
It was. I saw it in the movie theater. It was real good.
So that was a Marvel movie.
It's a Marvel movie.
I gotta get into that stuff. I be in the Tubi so much.
Hold up.
I'm watching karate movies, cartoons, shit.
Let me see. Thunderbolts, 2025 Marvel Cinematic Universe film about the team of including Yelena Belovia, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost Taskmaster, and U.S. Agent. But nonetheless, the characters, but the villain was wiping everybody out, right?
Right.
And when he was wiping everybody out, it would leave like an imprint of the body.
Yeah.
And the director did that to display what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Oh,
yeah, it was everything. It brought that to my attention. But if y'all go see that, it might be on Disney Plus or something like that because they got Marvel. But and I was doing after I seen the movie, I was looking up the characters because I didn't grow up with the comic books.
Right.
So I start when I watch a Marvel movie or DC movie,
Right.
and who is this character? What was he like in the comics? Compare, contrast, and stuff like that. But I thought it was an article on that particular visual effect that they had,
Right.
and it was depicting after shadow,
Yeah,
of what a nuclear bomb would do to a
That's
person and
real.
what they did.
that's real.
So maybe I can get a clip on here.
Think about this too, right? They show a little girl after the bomb drop, and she's shaking like this, and it looked like she cold. You know what I mean? But they said that the horror that the little girl saw had her shaking to the point where if you touched her, she was, and they showed her on TV for a few seconds, and you thinking like, damn, she just cold because she ain't really got no clothes on. She cold. But they said the horror, it destroyed her psyche, too. And then not only that, they had people who tried to turn from the blast. They was real far from it, but they tried to turn from the blast, and the blast discolored the whole side of their face or their body. Blast hit.
Trying to find the part where they oh, this the end when they save everything. I'm gonna find it. Also, I'm gonna find it though.
Yeah,
If I can't find it, I'll play it though.
thunderbolts.
It was a good trying to see it up.
In
There
the
we go.
shadows.
Yeah, there we go.
right
There we
there.
go. This might be it. Y'all bear with me once. If this is it, I definitely share it on screen to give you a visual.
Yeah.
I think it might be it. Hold on. I want to share first quick. I'm gonna share this on the screen chat 1 second.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was a horror to those people. All you got to do is ask those people that lived through that in Japan. They'll tell you, you know what I mean? It's a horrible sight. A nuclear blast. And not only that, to wait 3 days and then drop another one. That's a beast right there. Because they debated, right? Think about this. The only thing you can think of is they debating like, man, that was crazy. Do you think that same thing could happen again? You know what I mean? Did you see the bodies? Oh, I mean, was it because of, of the atmosphere? Was it the bomb itself that did that? Let's do it again in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's all. That's a beast. You understand? Somebody who would not only do a horror one time, but turn around, and then do it again.
Well, I'm sharing it. Let me see. If it's gonna let me play.
Pause.
Well, it's playing, but it ain't going all the way through. Let me see. No sweat, but if y'all ever seen that movie, that was what y'all saw. If y'all did see that movie, when he was turning people down there into a shadow.
Is that what he was doing? Like,
yeah, he was wiping everybody out. But it was a good movie.
That's the power.
It's
Listen, the power of one man.
Everything.
You understand the power of one nation to be able to wipe out another nation just like that. And think about this, right? This is the reason why America says, "Oh, we don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, or we don't want this." And then this is the reason why they disarm Germany, Poland, Sweden, and all of those people that's in the European Union. Think about this. Everybody think about this. Everybody that's in the European Union has no nuclear weapons. America disarmed all of them and had them to depend on America. This is what America did. Not only that, that pipeline that went from Germany to Russia. Remember that? What's the name of that pipeline that goes from Germany, that went from Germany to Russia? it's actually 4 pipelines. If I'm not mistaken, they destroyed 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that the European Union's dependency could be in America. Now that they destroyed those pipelines, that oil pipeline coming from Russia into the European Union, now the European Union has to take and depend on America for oil. So now they paying prices on oil that's astronomically way higher than in Russia. This is what America does. America puts you in a position to need them and then use you to their advantage. And this is what America does to blacks, Hispanics, and natives. Listen, we are the petri dish of what America does to countries around the globe.
Right.
You understand?
Who do you think Germany learned it from?
Yeah. That's
I mean,
what
that's written in
Right.
actual historical documents.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And all we have to do is, if we look at what America, think about this, and this is another thing. This is not any kind of news. This is just my belief, my thinking, right? That Ebola just happens to break out. You understand? In Africa. Now, I'm not saying that the Africans can't have Ebola, but after they bombed Uganda a couple of months ago, America bombed Uganda, right? A couple of months ago. And now all of a sudden the Ebola breaks back out.
I thought that was Nigeria.
No, Uganda.
Oh.
That was Uganda, not Nigeria.
Okay.
They had a thing happened in Nigeria,
right?
But they bombed Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah. America's a horrible country.
Listen,
you understand?
They bomb us on. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
But look, also this, right? Nonetheless, as far as the bombing is concerned, they should consider not eating no goddamn. We brought this out. Was it last week or the week before about Ebola? They should consider not eating monkeys and bats.
Yeah.
You understand?
Hey, listen.
Come on, man.
Man,
the Chinese had a front row view of the Ebola breakout because of the bats, and then they just wanted that bat souffle,
right?
That rat with wing souffle, and then the whole the whole world gets shut down with them.
Right. So here we go again. Now the Africans, Hey, we can't get enough, you know what I mean? And this is how you know we are not Africans. I don't care what we do. We do not eat what they eat. We do not do what they think about this too, right? I don't want to go too far off, but for the people who keep saying that we're Africans, right? Show me your great African scientists. Show me your great African builder.
When I say scientists, show me the ones that's
talking about
doing mathematical equations to get people to the moon.
Right.
Because they're all African scientists.
Yeah. No.
But that's what I'm saying is this, though. Y'all ain't better than us.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Y'all got people in particular fields or what have you.
Yep.
You got people in the NBA. But Victor Wembanyama, whatever, he ain't Jordan, he ain't LeBron.
No.
He's just 7 feet, 7'5", 7'5". You know what I mean?
7'5", man, you should be able to dunk on everybody.
Come on, man. Like, are you kidding me?
If you look at him, right, he ain't really jumping that high.
Yeah, he not. He just
man, if I was that tall, I'd be sitting on the rim.
Right.
Come
on, man. Forget let a Negro that want to play basketball up there 7'5".
Right.
They want to make a whole new league. They want to make a whole new league around.
Yeah.
Get away from it. Yep. This Negro, it's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that.
But we just listen. We are the greatest people that ever walked the face. Think about this, right? We don't chase after African culture. Africans chase after our culture. Africans come to try to be like us. You understand? I don't see people walking around in those little wrap blankets, you understand, with things over their head and stuff like that, like Africans. We don't do that. We don't walk around in sandals in the wintertime.
As soon as in Baltimore, as soon as I see a cat walking down the street with a goddamn bag on their head,
Right.
right? They ain't that ain't us.
Yeah.
That ain't
us.
You know what I'm saying? Particular garbs,
Yep.
you know, African.
And you can always tell them, right? They got on what? They got on they got on a what's their famous thing, right? They got on a dress shirt. They got on a different color pair of slacks.
Penny loafers.
And they got on penny loafers, you know what I mean? And that's not us, yo. Listen, come on, man. Even on our bad days, you understand what I'm saying? And we have those because we black. You understand?
They got their own corner store.
Yeah, they got their own
They'll
corner.
drive out the way to go to an African. They got one on out there in Randallstown.
Yep, out Woodlawn, right there at across from Alco, where Alco used to be at.
One of the two.
Yeah, they got the African International store.
You're right. They got one there, and they got one up further up Old Court Road.
Okay,
a little bit past that gas station.
Right.
Old Court and Liberty.
Right.
Right hand side before. It used to be an apartment. It used to call Brookhaven. It's called something else now.
Right.
But right before Brookhaven, it's an international African store right there.
Okay.
Stank like you can smell it before you get there.
Right.
But they got their own corner store. They got their own bars. They got their own club.
Right.
Separate, yeah.
They don't do what we do. That's why.
Listen, go ahead, run, yo. Go listen, man. I think he been gone.
Gone.
Come back. Jesus saves, dude. He was a goddamn. You know, he got mad when we called a white man his daddy. They get hurt when they
Right.
But we all for that, Mathan.
Right.
But you want to get one more article or get some more on the ceasefire?
You want to? Well, like I said, I don't know what the ceasefire is. Not anymore, anyway. From what I was always taught, a ceasefire, everything stops. You understand? But for a nation that went into a sovereign country, Venezuela, and kidnapped the president, unalived 30 of his Cuban security staff, you understand, and came out talking about how they're going to take over their oil, you understand, charged him with drug trafficking, then you get him all the way to New York in the United States.
Right.
And then you drop the drug trafficking charges, but nothing else is said about him. Where is Maduro? You understand? What are you holding them for? You understand? Yeah. You break international law against a sovereign country. You call for a ceasefire, but the fire doesn't cease. You understand? You talk about taking over Greenland. You talk about taking over Cuba. Okay. You understand? To me, it sounds like this is a country full of pirates. That's what it sounds like to me. A pirate does not know what a ceasefire is. Mm-hmm. A pirate will say, I'm putting my weapon down, and then hit you with a sword in the stomach. You understand what I'm saying? America is the beast of the earth. You understand? We just happen to be captive here. You understand? We are not a part of America. If you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native, you are not a part of America. Let this beast fall where he stands. You understand? Don't help the beast. You understand? By joining that military force. And I understand we got brothers and sisters that have already committed themselves to America's military force. But as soon as you can get out,
do not renew it. Do not extend that contract.
Don't re-enlist. You understand? Get out while you can, because listen, this is the beginning of the end of the American empire. You understand? Are we gonna read this right here?
The last one I sent you.
Ceasefire. Okay.
And then that can be the last one. But do you want to show them you want to show the screen that file, the FBI file? You think I should show that to him?
Can you?
You
can show it to him.
Yeah, I can. But no, earlier
because you know what? Because you know what? Yeah, I think you should, because people will think, oh, they just said that. You know, it's not real or nothing like that. You got to see it. And as a matter of fact, they can get it themselves too.
You can actually get this here. I'm gonna share on the screen right here, y'all. Y'all go on the FBI website. These right here is FBI all the way back to 72, y'all.
Yeah.
Ghetto Informant Program, Extremist Matters, 10/9/72.
10/9/72. Ooh, that was great.
This year. I'm schooling down here,
That was 4 years.
and
old.
even here, you ain't had to show your age. Like
Oh
that.
shit! Damn! Damn!
No, you didn't let the kid up.
Damn! I had just turned. God damn!
And all of this here, you see, is much here that's redacted.
Right.
But we just read, we just did a whole breakdown on it in the article. But this is what we bringing out here. We ain't just talking out the side of our neck. You better let them know, Madame. This here legit. You understand?
Freeze that. Just give them a couple of seconds of that. Look at that right there. Like when you get those big articles, let them see a little bit of that because they can always rewind it back and look at that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's heavy right there, man. And for them to always listen.
So if I could research research the Ghetto Informant Program is going to come right up on your Google, and you can download the files that they have released. They haven't released all the info and as much that is redacted, but you know it's out there for you to comb through yourself.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right. You want to read?
No, you was about to mention. You was about to say something.
Shit, you know I'm old. I forgot.
But no, this.
Oh yeah. Oh wait a minute. What did I really say?
We was on this informant program. You said pause here. They can always comb through.
Yeah, they can always comb through, but they've been doing this stuff to us since the 50s, the 40s. Listen, in the 30s and the 20s, they didn't have to cover anything up. They were out with it. You understand what I'm saying? The times changed to the point where they had to begin to go covert with a lot of the stuff that they were doing. You understand what I'm saying? So they've been doing this stuff since the 40s, the 50s, all the way through to the day. These things are still happening to us. This is not a new thing. Think about this. Remember when the dudes in Chicago was saying they would go through alleys and they would walk up and there'd be a crate of guns sitting there.
Yep.
You understand? Think about the guns that they got in Chicago. Where are they getting these guns from? You understand? Of course, all of these are ghost guns. These guns are planted in these places so that we can destroy ourselves. And if you look at what's happening in Chicago and Detroit and different St. Louis and places like that, especially in the upper Midwest, our people are just destroying ourselves with the things that they are giving us. And then you come down the East Coast, they still throwing the drugs in our neighborhoods, letting us kill ourselves with the drugs. Just what, 4 months ago, we had all those people on Pennsylvania Avenue falling out off of those drugs. 32 people at one sitting. And then what happened about 10 days, a few days later, another 12 people did the same thing? I mean, come on now. This is not just by happenstance, you understand? When your oppressor hates you, these are the extents and the lengths that he goes through to destroy us. You understand? All these things are happening just not by happenstance. You understand? I yield, sir. You want to get into this last article?
I'm gonna stop sharing this here and share it. Live updates, Trump.
Yep. You got that up there?
I got it up.
Okay. Say live update. Trump says Iran talks continuing at rapid pace after regime threatens other fronts in war. President Trump said on his Truth Social platform Monday that indirect talks with Iran were continuing at a rapid pace hours after an Iranian news outlet linked to its Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the RGC, said the regime was suspending the talks and opening up other fronts in the war. The Iranians' move came in response to what it considered to be ceasefire violations by the U.S. and Israel. Mr. Trump also said all shooting will stop between Israel and Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed militant group in Lebanon, after the president said he spoke with officials from both sides of the conflict. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu later said his country's military would continue to operate as planned in southern Lebanon. That's a person who does not want the war to stop. And this is a personal thing for him. You understand? And I'm not saying personal like he has to get back at somebody, but if this war stops, he goes to trial, he gets convicted, he goes to jail.
Oh.
You understand? And believe it or not, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of those Israelis who have lost family members who hate Benjamin Netanyahu. And if he doesn't come back with more countries than he left with, that's it for him. It's a wrap. And the same thing for Trump. You understand? Trump is on a mission because as long as this war is going on, he's safe. He in a safe place. You understand?
I don't know what Benjamin Netanyahu got on Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? Maybe, maybe the entire United States is in danger. And we don't, and I say we like, America, the United States may not even be aware from the Israelis.
Well,
that could be a theory. I'm just throwing out theories.
No. Well, we talked about that. We talked about that a couple of months ago, right? Remember, the Israelis bombed a U.S. warship back in.
Was it the 70s or the 60s?
I want to say it was the 80s. I want to say it was 82, 83.
Yeah,
and
that's
they actually killed.
Some of them are still alive.
But they unalived like 118.
Yeah.
You understand? But not only that, if you look at the reports, they said the number one enemy of America is Israel. Israel monitors and steals information from America. You understand? Now, just like you said, right? For a country to know this but still do what they do for another country, like you said, this country has to have something up on America.
Right.
Number one, I believe one of those things is the Epstein file.
100%. I believe that. And listen, this is not what we're saying is I wouldn't call it factual or news or what have you. It's just possible theories.
Right.
Because look, if I could have done, look at the leverage that the U.S. has, the military might.
Right.
The military might, the intelligence capabilities.
Yep.
All of those, and then you still are being a subservient to what the Israelis want.
Humbling yourself to what they want.
I won't even say humbling is just bowing.
Yeah.
Not even humbling is like just respect.
Yeah.
It ain't even like a respect thing. It's like I'm your bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And then all y'all Trump supporters, all y'all live, especially the kid. I think he ran. Jesus saves and his amen.
Right.
Nigga, he just on with the program.
So let's go here then, right?
You know what I mean?
The second thing is the AIPAC. You
AIPAC,
understand?
they bought up.
So when you come up to those the Jewish lobbyists and you take money,
right.
You understand? If I come out with an article, I come out with checks, I come out with letters that I wrote you and you wrote back, and I come out with emails saying I'll give you this, you're obligated no matter what happens. So now let's start thinking about the black faces in high places, because we got to go all the way in, right? We keep looking at black people that are in all of these high positions and wondering what are they doing that nothing's happening for black people. Well, just like Jasmine Crockett did last week, spoke out and supported somebody that is bought in by the Jewish lobbyists,
right.
Over your people,
right,
to get your people taken out, and that lobbyist put in. She's bought by AIPAC too,
100%,
100%.
right.
You understand?
Hakeem too, and it's the whole thing on the West Coast right now with them cats right now too.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Was it TikTok or was it local news? It couldn't be local news because they corporate. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but just like you said, Hakeem Jeffries and all of those people that keep standing up in front of the cameras and saying, we're doing this and we need you to help. We need the help like that. All of Is that somebody in that one?
It is.
Who's that?
I'm not
You
sure.
want me to get I get the shot?
Hey, hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna look. Just look on there real quick on the camera. Go ahead, get the door. Y'all sluggy. Bear with me 1 second. But nonetheless, these cats is straight up compromised. Nonetheless, is what we getting at, and we can't really put our faith in a system that's really we can't put our faith in this system or more or less. But we're gonna continue to dive into this. I'll get my co-host back on the stage. Long crap. What's your name again now? So Sloggy?
That's it. My mother said we can't have no company.
Borrow Cuttermill, Most High Christ.
Most High Christ.
No, we on this article here as far as the Israelis is concerned. And Matham, you were speaking about the lobbying.
Oh yeah.
I mentioned Hakeem and you mentioned the sister.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett. You know what I mean?
You have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, because we keep looking at these people as though they're gonna be our savior, especially black women. You understand? And we put black women in a whole different high category. You understand? We put them in a category like first they are a minority, right? They women, and then they call them minorities. Well, that makes us in the same category too, because we black men and we minorities too, right?
We separate ourselves.
We separate ourselves, and we believe that if these black women get into these positions, that a whole lot of change is going to come through. But if you look at these black women that are in these, and what's the black sister that been into this Congress for 30 something years,
I know
right?
when y'all see her. I don't know her name, but y'all know when y'all see her.
Yeah, but she's been in there 30 something years, and she's made a career out of this, and nothing has changed. You understand what I'm saying?
And a lot of them meant well, maybe in the beginning or at some point, but maybe engulfed in this.
Again, right? To me, when you look at it, if you're in politics, Senate or Congress for 4 or more years, you have been bought. If you make 2 to 3 terms, if you win anything 2 to 3 terms, you've been bought. Because the first person that stands up for black people, they're gonna make sure you out of there. AIPAC buys seats. You keep thinking you're voting people in, even with this thing with the gerrymandering, right? The thing with the gerrymandering doesn't really mean anything, because what they're doing is they're taking you away from the people who really being bought, and they making you think that these people are winning because they changing the maps and stuff around. Listen, your vote never counted anyway. The things that you always asking for, you never get. So how could you possibly think that switching the map around is going to really mess us up? You was already messed up from the beginning. You never got anything from the beginning. So what is changing the map around going to do? It ain't going to do nothing but take the black faces out, put the white faces in, so you can see what's really happening. You understand? We see what's really happening. We don't vote. You understand? Because voting hasn't gotten us anywhere since 1954. You understand? And like we said, how many times have we said you don't see Asians vote? You don't see any other nation of people vote.
Right.
But us, we the only ones that run out there and vote thinking there's going to be a change. Oh, damn. If we'd have had a couple more votes, man, we could have got it. Man, better luck next year. You understand? That's us. You understand? We keep looking at the things that are not there. Listen, every nation of people that comes in lives the American reality. We the only people that live the American dream. Then when we wake up, we see how horrible America really is. You understand? That's us. That's our life.
You're right.
That's our life.
You're right.
Best thing in the world. The best thing in the world I could have ever did was stop voting and stop wasting my time.
All right. Excellent point with them. Like, we get caught up in, and a big reason we get caught up in the political system. It's just like that. I don't know what it is about the Christian church that thinks that it's not even cool.
Right.
I don't know what somewhere along the way the Christian church thought it was like a good thing. Maybe it was the civil rights movement or what have you. But it's like the Christian church has become politicized.
Right.
In the political field, when you got Jesse Jackson going in the political route,
Right.
Al Sharpton going in the political route. So it's now like every Christian pastor is looking like, damn, they the top cat, so we gotta go where?
What's the pastor that just became a congressman? What is his name?
I'm not sure.
The damn, he the black guy. Last year, he just won the seat last year. You understand? But this is where a lot of these pastors are going, and you understand they are destroyed because they really don't, just like the scriptures say, they destroy for a lack of knowledge. We keep looking at these pastors as though they're the smartest people in the world.
Hakeem Jeffries was he a pastor?
Hakeem Jeffries. Well, what's the black dude that he was a pastor? He ran as a pastor and just won last year. Was it the Senate?
Older gentleman. Yeah. He was like making a bunch of disruption.
Yeah.
In the man.
And he actually won in a Republican
Frederick
state.
Hay,
no, not him. Not him. What if you say his name, you can be like, oh,
I know. He got slick hair, a cane, a lighter hue.
No.
Oh man, yo, him
right there.
Senator
Warnock. Yeah, Senator Warnock. Yeah, he was a pastor.
This the cat you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this cat.
Senator Warnock. He just won last year.
Okay, Congressman Black Caucus Pack. Senator
Ebenezer
Raphael.
Baptist Church. He was the pastor at the Ebenezer Baptist Church.
You know he's a homosexual.
But Warnock, Reverend Warnock, that was his name. But that's where all of them are moving to. You understand what I'm saying? And they moving to there because it's easy money. You can take bribes and everything else like that. At a pastor at a church, you gotta really hustle people. You understand? And then you gotta listen to people talk about you. As a senator or a congressman, you don't have to listen to all that. You understand? And you can keep blowing people off and stuff like that. All you gotta do is have a clothing drive. You know what I mean? Give away a couple of turkeys on Thanksgiving, right? And the people back voting for you again. You understand? It's easier than a church hustle. You understand? Because
I called dibs on that box.
What do you got right there?
No, I'm messing with you.
What that is, cake?
I'll say one from the thumb.
I'm good.
You see it yet?
No, I'm good, B. I'm trying. No, you got that. Oh, you said it's hard.
Yeah, because it's been in the fridge. It's been in the fridge, though. No, it's been in the fridge. That's why it's stiff like that. You sit it out and put it in the microwave for like. Since yesterday. It was here yesterday.
Okay, it was good. It was good.
You forgot we was in here. That's how long y'all. They was doing a lot of work. And man, hold on. Before we roll out of here, I want to give a public thanks for the entire, DC Philly crew, Commander and Hannah for coming down all the I mean, it was an amazing.
That was
An amazing. It was we had the feast here.
Okay.
But we had the events down in DC as far as the viewing the monuments or what have you. But I want to give a public thanks to Commander Gianhana for coming down, blessing his presence. Blessing his presence along with General Sharmar. I ain't seen him in a minute coming up here. General Katham was in the building. General Q. Captain Shock was in the building. Captain Ashaparium was in the building. Captain Thought was in the building.
Oh, yeah.
Philly Cats was in the building. Captain Ahmad. Captain Zach VA was in the building, man. It was a whole thing. It was a big thing, big thing. It was a sea of people in this joint. From the end of the joint
right
to the end of the joint. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Gabar, I don't know if you know, right? Every chair in this building was Saturn. We had to get the reserve seats
out the back.
I had to get the camp equipment seats.
Listen,
I was the last nigga standing.
We were sitting on coolers. They were sitting on coolers in here.
There was about to be somebody was better sit on the cooler if somebody else walked in that damn door. But I was like, damn, I can't even sit down. You know what I mean? It is what it is. That shows you what the Lord doing to this place. You understand? Every brothers and sisters is waking up, but the water to the Commander Hano coming down, all the generals, all the captains, in the region, doing it big up here, man. I never seen this. I mean, we've seen it full plenty of times,
right?
But like that, like we ran out, and this McDuff hooked the school up. Hey man, y'all good? Y'all had these. I'm gonna give me some more.
Oh yeah,
these my reserves. Y'all take the reserve. So like,
I'm about to give him some more. I'm about to give him some more. I'm about to get some more chairs.
But I mean, every chair. I mean, the old chairs that we had when we first opened up, the Walmart joints. We had to get the camp chairs. I mean, it was a whole deal. But the water for Commander Hana coming down. I just want to say that publicly real quick before we continue on. And the whole crew, the whole zone came through. Virginia, DC, North Carolina came up. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? That's what
the new captains too.
I want to get enough time where I can go down like that.
100%.
Like when they be having stuff like that. Yo,
look, the new cookout though, this year, Philly. So we right up there. Oh hell yeah, we going up there. Well, one more thing before
weekend for that.
Hell yeah. We got enough time to call off too. We got it's at the end of July.
Don't worry, I'm gonna be sick that weekend.
It's not first.
I will be sick.
But look, big ups to the new captains in the region though. Right. Big up Yaraj.
Right.
Yaraj on my Yaraj cat here. Down there at VA. Oh hell yeah. They all well deserved and approved. Big ups Captain Kazak now. Kazak. Yeah, clap it up.
Wow.
And a warrior.
Well, you know what? Damn.
You already know the deal. Yeah. Captain Warrior. Man. All in well deserved, man. It was a big weekend. Big weekend.
Oh, wow.
Big weekend. Damn. We held it down. You know what I'm saying? But it was a glorious night. A glorious weekend. You know what I'm saying? Satan was on one. I down there and missed the DC joint, the sightseeing, but I made it down there and I made it to the feast, of course. But look, man, hit up. It's a lot of footage coming out there, so make sure y'all like and subscribe to everything that's coming out. All right, but we're gonna get a little bit more on this last article, and then we're gonna move, and then we're gonna depart. All right,
man, that's crazy.
You want to stay a little bit longer?
No, I'm just saying they cat.
I know.
Crazy.
No, I know.
All right, let's go. Let's get into it. Listen. Trump says he spoke to Netanyahu and asked him not to go into a major raid of Beirut. President Trump said on his Truth Social platform on Monday that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu turned his troops around in Lebanon following their earlier phone call. I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today, asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut, Lebanon. He turned his troops around, Mr. Trump said. The president also said he spoke with representatives of Hezbollah who agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Mr. Trump said, let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully, it will be for eternity. Yeah, all right. Earlier, Netanyahu said that he told Mr. Trump that his country would strike Beirut if Hezbollah doesn't stop attacking Israel. Meanwhile, the Israeli military will continue to operate as planned in southern Lebanon, Netanyahu said. Listen. That ceasefire already broke.
100%.
Already broke.
You know,
Everybody already knows.
You know they still all up in Lebanon anyway.
Yeah. Well, see,
they don't consider it like
they
related,
said they still gonna
related.
keep on doing what they doing in southern Lebanon, which means unaliving and taking land.
Yeah, 100%.
You understand? What they doing is they flattening the earth so nobody can live there, so they can take over and build on top of that. Remember, they said from the river to the sea, right? Israelis are the only so-called country that doesn't have any borders, because now if you make borders, then your country stops. But as long as you don't have borders, it ain't even technically, you can move as far as your bombs will take you. You can take over as much as your bullets will unalive the people that are in front of you. You understand? So with that, we already know that calling for a ceasefire is not really a ceasefire when it comes to the oppressor. At the end of the day, them Israelis are oppressors.
100%.
They're from Germany, Poland,
Russia,
all
Ukraine
of these
too.
places like that. Yeah. Yep. So
that should have been expected though. Like they're on an invasion tour.
Yeah.
And it's plain to see.
Yep.
So all that pray for Gaza and pray for Iran and ceasefire. You might as well get your bets in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all them, get on your betting apps with all, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's just gonna go forward. That's their mindset. Everything else is propaganda and information wars, and also not only that, but like making the statements that they make and push through the media is for market shifts and stocks and things like that.
Right.
So don't even look at it like a leveraging point for marketing. What they say on the internet, ceasefire here, we reached a deal. They reached a deal, and then they in the water and they bombing boats.
Yeah.
Iran like, nah, that
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? And they insisting that no, there's a ceasefire, blase, and the oil is going down and the gas prices X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all propaganda for particular and strategic monetary gain as far as stocks and is concerned or what have you.
Have you noticed, Salaki, if I may, have you noticed how some of the gas prices are going down?
Oh, yeah.
What you know that comes from the oil reserves that America has is what they're cutting into. They don't tell people that they're cutting into their own oil reserves to keep those prices down, because I know I saw.
Not only that, but it's a force flex.
Yeah.
That they're going to pay for on the back end. But go ahead.
Yeah, but they using those oil reserves. They don't say anything about the oil reserves. You understand?
Yeah.
So what happens is once the blockade started, then they let the oil prices go up, right? If you let the oil prices go up, then everybody believes that, it's really happening. It's really happening. It's really happening. So what they do is they underhandedly start releasing oil reserves. Then they say, we're about to make a deal. We're about to make a deal. Oil prices come down. Everybody get comfortable. But what's going to happen is they said once the oil prices get to a certain height, they said even if the straits open back up, they're not going to bring the oil prices down, because they're going to say people going to people gonna get used to the oil prices being right where they are, and you're gonna remain paying those high oil prices. And what does that mean? That means the people who are investing are making money. And this is a whole money grab. Just like you said before, it's a whole money grab.
Huh.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
at the end of the day, we are the ones getting used. You understand? Those people in Congress are getting paid. Now, if you know anything about government officials don't pay for gas. They got gas cars.
100%.
So gas going up does not affect them. They get a vehicle.
Minimum wage
doesn't affect them. They get vehicles. Vehicles don't affect them. The price of vehicles don't affect them because all of these things come to them. You understand? We are the people who are affected by all of that. You understand? That's it, Cat.
We ain't gonna hold y'all too long, but look, don't be deceived. Don't get fooled by the propaganda that's pushed on social media, pushed on the radio shows, on your radio feed, or or your television or what have you. This empire is on a rapid decline.
Yeah.
It's on a rapid decline. Most sound correct. Yeah. This empire is absolutely on a rapid decline. And like we say in the UPK all the time, especially brothers with them covers, right. Babylon is falling.
What was that I did up there? Babylon is falling. That's how I started off my my what's the name when we was at DC the first time.
Correct.
You know, and the dude was like, Babylon not falling, Babylon been fell. I said, oh, you don't understand.
You don't understand.
You don't understand.
This here is spiritually Babylon.
Exactly.
Spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah, and spiritually
that's what I had to get up there and tell him.
That's scriptural. That's in the Bible.
He saw my shirt.
Right.
He saw Babylon. Babylon been fell.
Right.
I said, oh, you don't know, do you?
Mm-hmm.
I got up there. That's what I started talking about. You know, and a lot of us, we get caught up because we get the book smarts, right? And we get the understanding of America. We get the understanding of the oppressor. Babylon fell way back in 1200 BC. You know, Babylon's on. No, this is Babylon we living in now. That spirit of Babylon lives in America. The spirit of Egypt is in America. You understand? The spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah is America. You understand? And that's what we are happy to be seeing this fall. You understand? All of the sodomizing, all of the unaliving, all of the unrighteousness. You understand? And that's the Babylon is falling. Egypt is falling. America's falling. You understand?
You're absolutely right, man. It's absolutely falling. So don't get caught up in the propaganda.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We peel, Madame, you do such a good job. We peel it back every week. Like, don't get it confused.
Right.
These cats that be coming up against us, especially online and anywhere also, at camps or what have you, they really have in their mind that America can be salvaged.
Yep.
That America can be fixed. I be on TikTok all day. Liberals, they be fighting against Democrats and conservatives. Our way is the best way, and our way is going to save America. And we gotta vote this. We gotta vote that. We're gonna the midterms this and the midterm, and Democrats gonna win the midterm, and but it's still heroin. Still my family members is on heroin and crack.
Yeah.
And you talking about a goddamn midterm.
Yeah.
You understand? I go to I ride home through luxury and then go home to the ghetto.
Right.
And you talking about a goddamn midterm in 2026?
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. They think
everything we bring out on the show is for our liberation. And tying in all the news that ain't coming across our feed,
right?
And breaking down and uncovering and unpeeling the propaganda that is blinding us from the truth.
Right.
The ceasefire is garbage. The war is going to continue, and our liberation is on the way.
Yep.
And in the meantime, here in the Israelite School of UPK, we are building the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Under the Most High Christ, under Commander and honor. You understand? That's the deal. Don't mean to close it.
That's it. I'm done.
This is the Israelite School of UPK, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are under commanding General Hanna. We've been teaching this truth since 1969. That the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are in fact the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
And with that, Shalom Israel. We'll be back next week, Lord Allah, with the permit.
Yeah.
All right.